Hi everybody, some of you may recognize this mini bike from a video I did a couple of years ago, and since then I've got a chance to drag race it at a place in Symco, Wisconsin last summer in August. I decided on a whim to drive several hundred miles over there by myself to enter this race. I did so and did a lot better than I expected. I ended up almost winning the 6.5 to 13 horse class, I believe it is. You take out a perfectly good stock 6.5 horse Honda that was running perfect, and I guess I've got plans for it. I'm going to be doing some modifications to better my chances to come home with a trophy this year from Symco, Wisconsin. So as far as the cylinder head is concerned, I didn't do a whole lot to this. I cleaned it up. I used a Dremel tool with a wire brush end and a bottle brush to get all the carbon out of the exhaust port. I went in and did do some porting on it with just polishing. Basically, I'm not trying to remove a whole lot of metal or anything like that. In this case, just get rid of some of the rough edges and polish up the combustion chamber a little bit. I mean, it's got very few hours on it, and so we're going to just lap the valves and put the valve springs and retainers back in. I'm going to go with some aluminum retainers this time, and we're also going to go with the slightly higher ratio rocker arms. I think they're a 1.3 rocker arm with the corresponding slightly longer push rods for this, which you do need if you're going to go with those kind of rocker arms. The springs are already just a little bit stiffer than stock, and we're going to go with a slightly more than stock camshaft, a dyno cam. Still using a stock profile. So we'll get the head back together and complete that part of the project soon. Another thing I'm doing is raising the compression on this motor. That's one of the probably biggest advantages to doing this upgrade, is getting more compression out of it. So I purchased this stock style Honda piston. It's actually a Honda piston, but it is a flat top design. So as you can see, that's going to be a better design than the dished piston, the stock one here. As you can see, I'm not quite sure how much of an increase we're going to get, but that's a simple and inexpensive upgrade with new rings. And then the new connecting rod that I purchased, the ARC rod that we're going to be putting on, that is slightly longer than stock. So that will bring the piston farther up in the bore, closer to a zero deck type situation, which will also increase the compression. So, okay, we're back. We got the engine mostly reassembled now with the new Honda flat top piston and matching piston rings, using the ARC billet connecting rod, which is just slightly longer, I believe 1/10 of an inch or something, which brings the piston farther up in the bore. As you can see now, we're not quite to what we call a zero deck piston to block height, but it's very close. I'm estimating it around 0.10 of an inch there would be with the pistons in the hole. We need 30 thousandths total gap clearance between the top of the piston and the cylinder head. So that means in this case I need to use a gasket that is about 27 thousandths of an inch thick to come up with 30 thousandths or slightly more. Otherwise there would be contact, apparently. This is what I've learned through ARC racing, with the top of the piston and the cylinder head. So you wouldn't be able to use this paper thin stock tin gasket. That's only 9 thousandths of an inch thick. That would be just too close. So They offer several of these multi-layer gaskets. The first one I bought initially when I didn't know any better was this 36 thousandths one. I could use that, but it's really too thick in my opinion to get the maximum compression that I want. So I've got a 27 thousandths thickness one coming. So that would put me in the safe ballpark as far as the compression. So cover's on, billet flywheel is torqued on, and we'll get the head, which is finished, and the valves have been lapped on that, and we'll be bolting that on next, and hopefully get this back in the mini bike soon. So well, it runs pretty good, I guess. Motor is still very tight. New piston in there, and bearings for that new connecting rod, rings, that sort of thing. So you can tell that it's the idle is starting to increase finally now as it loosens up a little bit. I've been riding it around a little